Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Bobbe Joy. A joyful name for a joyful woman. You know, they say that some women are ageless. Well, we're looking at one today, ageless. She looks 35 and add another 40 to that. And you know, this is because she's taking care of herself. Part of it is genes, and part of it is knowing how to do the makeup that's going to enhance who you are rather than kind of camouflage you. She's written a wonderful book called Bobbe Joy, Raising Eyebrows, Confessions of the Beverly Hills Makeup Artist. And I'm sure she's got some juicy stories to share with us. And raising eyebrows, well, you know, even that in itself has some very interesting things, because eyebrows have most certainly changed through the years. They've been thick in the 90s. They were like pencil thin in the 70s. And, you know, now it's meant to be all natural. And it's, you know, trying to keep up with makeup trends is something that's very, very hard. But wearing makeup that not only is good for your skin, that complements who you are as a person, but also not reflecting your age per se. But, you know, it's not the teenage makeup you wear when you're at the 50s, 60s, or 70s. It's makeup that really makes you look as beautifully natural as possible.
That's right.
So many wonderful tips we're going to be hearing from her today, plus some juicy stories. And, you know, we're online nowadays, folks. And so many people in their business have had to go online now because they cannot meet people in person. So how do you wear makeup for the online camera? For those selfies that everyone is taking every 5 minutes, what kind of makeup, how should you present yourself? Because it's different. It's different from when you're in person. So I can't wait to dive in, Bobbe, and pick your wonderful brain. And really, right for the start, I do not believe it as Trump would say, show me your birth certificate.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate
My pleasure.
here. This is my first podcast I've ever done.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm not.
Kidding. I'm very honored. I'm very honored you're on here with me.
And I wanted to make a comment about eyebrows since you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing that I've always said, because I was an eyebrow specialist for many, many years, is that
Having a bit of a wobbly.
All of these things were. Where are we starting?
We're starting right now, love. We had a wobbly, and we have to understand, folks, we're in retrograde. If you don't know what that means, it means that it messes with the internet, right? So if we get a few wobblies, don't worry about it. We will get back to you. We don't want to miss a word. Please continue, love.
All right. So with regard to eyebrows, as I know that when Friends was on the TV show, a lot of the girls on that show made their eyebrows very thin, and it became like a fashion statement to have skinny eyebrows. And then when they went to grow them back, they couldn't grow them back because a lot of them don't grow back. And it's certainly, the older you get, the harder it is for them to grow back. And what makes somebody very youthful looking as you look at young people is they have nice, big, thick eyebrows until such time as somebody gets a hold of them and thinks that it's okay to make them look thinner and thinner. So my main concern is always to say to people that it's not a fashion statement. It's a way of creating a frame for your face, for your eyes. So I wanted to make that clear because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about eyebrows.
I'm a 70s chick. So, of course, you know, Cabaret came out and everybody went to just like the tiny weeny pencil eyebrow. And I don't have an awful lot of eyebrow as it is. My eyebrows stopped short. And, you know, I'm now in my 60s. And so the eyebrows are beginning to have the unicorns, you know, the white ones that stick out and you pluck them.
I have no idea about those.
And they're, you know, they're getting thinner and thinner. And I keep saying to the makeup people, you have this kind of eyebrow pencil for the youthful people, but why don't you have an eyebrow pencil that represents us gray hairs? We don't want a gray eyebrow, but we want something that's more in tune with it. And it doesn't seem to be out there, because you're right, the eyebrow is the frame. It frames the eyes and it frames the face, and then kind of the eyes and the lips, right? So yeah, don't go plucking, folks, you know, because it is hard to grow back.
One of the things, and I do have a whole section on makeup in my book, even though it's not quite a makeup book, but one of the things that I tell people is if they want to tweeze their own eyebrows, that they should draw on the eyebrow that they want. And then only tweeze the hairs around it, so that when they take the pencil off, they actually still have an eyebrow left.
Right. Otherwise, oh my God, where did it go?
Well, because you have a tendency to take one and then you go, I don't know, maybe I should take that one. And then before you know it, you've got very, very, very skinny, you know, eyebrow. So that's why.
Same thing when you're trimming your hair, right? Oh, that's lopsided. Now drop this up. Then the next thing you know, you've got, you know, like an inch of hair left. It's lopsided. So. Working for Beverly Hills, I mean, you know, makeup, as far as I'm concerned, makeup should be something that enhances the natural beauty. But, you know, in the 70s, it was very heavy eye makeup, very heavy eyeliner. And I used to work for a makeup artist who, and whatever new makeup came out, she demonstrated it on me. And, you know, I hated the false eyelashes and like, so, you know, because you felt like you were like this. And the less you have on, the more natural it looks, with just a touch of color, really does kind of enhance the beauty of a person more, doesn't it?
Yes, but it also depends a lot on your coloring. You know, your hair coloring, your skin tone, all of those things are very important, because some people need a little bit more makeup. I'll tell you a quick story about a woman that I know that decided that she wanted to let her hair grow gray. And I said, you know, you really don't have the complexion for someone with gray hair. So if you do that, make sure that you wear a little blush and a little lipstick, just something to warm you up, to give you a little color, because it tends to suck all the color out of you. And she says, oh, I'm not going to do that. And I said, well, you know, you may change your mind. Well, I see her walking on the streets today, gray hair, no makeup. And it's kind of like, don't pay any attention to me. You don't even have to talk to me. I'm kind of hiding behind, you know, myself this way.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of women do. They don't want to call attention to themselves, or they think, oh,
got Wobbly's again.
Stay
with us.
Okay,
love. Sorry, we've got a wobbly. We don't want to miss anything.
No, that's all right. So it's very, very important that you don't hide from who you are. But that's what a lot of women do. A lot of women, even when they're younger and they get divorced, they think, who's going to want me? It doesn't matter. I have kids. I'm busy, you know, and they don't take care of themselves. And so it's very hard to attract people to you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean men.
Right.
You know, if you're a woman, it doesn't mean that. It means anybody. It could be the butcher. It could be the what. Just to have a warm, friendly conversation with somebody. You're more apt to get that kind of attention if you look as though you've taken care of yourself.
I think it goes across the board in anything that you do in life, is that, you know, you do not have to wear the Armani suit and have the bouffant hair. It's, you know, something that speaks to your personality, speaks to your character, but you're comfortable in, and that you look warm and friendly. And, you know, spending a little time on yourself. You know, I live with an 87-year-old who's got more energy and more tenacity than I have. I mean, she's just, you know, a sprinter, but never bothered with her face whatsoever. Didn't have time, and she's wrinkled as hell now, right? Because she didn't have time, and now she's trying to unwrinkle herself, which is a little late, right?
They don't have an iron for that.
No, I'm sure it's to come.
Yeah, right.
It's not here yet.
I know.
And the thing is I've always taken care of my skin, because I have dry skin. I also have eczema. So it was always something that, right from the age of 14, I was moisturizing my skin, being careful what kind of makeup I used. And, you know, it's a part of you. It's the first part that people see on you. When we're looking at the stars, you know, before we look at the body and the hot body and everything, it's the face. We're looking at the face. So what is the face saying about you? I have completely silvery gray hair now. I went there 3 years ago, and I've had to change my entire color wardrobe and makeup
Absolutely.
accordingly, which is fine. It's kind of exciting and get out of those old colors and go into new colors that I never used to be able to wear.
And
But
it's very becoming on you, by the way.
oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank
But
you.
I think
Yes.
that's because you also do take care to have makeup on.
Yes, exactly. I look at it this way. If I want you to talk to me, I want to present myself in the best manner I can.
Right,
Out of
exactly.
respect for myself, respect for the fact that you've got to look at me while I talk. So, you know, I don't want to kind of look half haggard and I don't care and my hair's all ruffled and I don't care, I look like the way I look. Well, you're saying to people that you don't care about yourself, right?
Right, exactly. There was a woman that was a client of mine, and she was a young woman, and she was looking for her guy. And she, I think it was before the dating apps, but anyway, she, every week or two that she came in, she would say, oh, I have a date tonight. What should I wear? How, you know, can you put a little makeup on me? So forth. And so she was very excited about all of that. And finally, one day she came in and she says, I met the guy. And I said, that's fabulous. And she looked great. And before you knew it, she was engaged. And then and always putting her makeup on, always looking cute and whatever. And then they got married and she got pregnant. She got pregnant and she looked adorable. And she was dressed so cute with all her little stuff. And then she had the baby. And I didn't see her for a while. And she came in and she looked terrible. And I said, what happened to you? She says, oh, well, you know, I have a baby and I don't have time and whatever. And I said, well, other people have babies and they have time. I said, I used to take my baby and put them in put them in a seat and put it next to me on the sink. And I would do my makeup while I would talk to my baby.
Right.
She says, well, I don't. I go to the park every day. And I said, okay, so you leave in the morning and your husband sees you like this and he says goodbye. And she goes, mm-hmm. And I said, and when he comes home at night, she says, well, I'm kind of the same as when he left. And I said, really? I said, you know, those girls at the office with the short skirts and the high heels, I bet they're starting to look pretty good to him right now. And she went, oh my gosh, you know, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women don't think about that.
No. I mean, yes, it's okay to be au naturel, you know, but you've also got to know a little effort goes an awful long way.
Right.
You know, it's not only representing yourself, but it's also respect of other people that are looking at you. You know, I don't care if you're a t-shirt and shorts guy, that's fine. But does the t-shirt fit? Do the shorts complement you? You know, is it a part of your persona that matches?
Exactly.
I used to have a business, you know, fashion is my passion. And I would take people shopping for clothes, get their hair and makeup done for people who are coming out either of a marriage or the kids are grown up or going back into the workforce and kind of have let themselves go. And it was like, no, that's fashion. But is it your fashion? Don't be a slave to it just because it's what's current. Is it current for you? You've got to have something that you can wear, not that wears you. And that goes for our makeup as well. It doesn't mean more is more. Sometimes
more is
more.
Usually not more.
No.
More is what you see all the time now on YouTube. You see these 12-year-olds even, and they erase their face and then they draw a new face on. And it has nothing to do with who you are from the inside. So you are not projecting it. You're projecting the thought of being somebody or something else. And that drives me crazy, I have to say, because, you know, I've been doing this for 50 years. And I think that, you know, the women who feel the best about themselves are the women who accept who they are and do the best with what they have, not trying to be somebody else. You can't be Kim Kardashian, you know, even though all these young girls seem to want to do that, and her sisters. It would be much more interesting and much more creative and more fashionable and everything if you could create who you really are.
Yes. But isn't that life's lesson anyway? We're here to discover who we are, our
Yes.
self-discovery. What is our instrument? How do we learn to play it? Which orchestra do we bring it to? You know, we're here to represent
Hmm.
ourselves from the inside out, but our outside should match our insides. So if we are full of love and joy and exuberance for life, then the outside needs to reflect it. If you're going around all dowdy on the outside and that you don't care, it means you're not caring on the inside as well. So those two need to match because they
That's
are
correct.
representative of who you are. You've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be willing to go through the process of life, to take the journey. And it's a wonderful journey if you're willing to participate in it. And your natural beauty will come out that you then just
That's right.
enhance a little bit.
There's what I did in the book. I actually have 3 or 4 chapters that are devoted to makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And in those chapters, the last, I think it was, I do makeup lesson for people and all of that, but I do a 5-minute makeup. It's like, there's no excuse. It's
Right.
5 minutes.
Yep.
You know, you can do 5 minutes.
Yep.
And, you know, for some people, the 5 minutes is just to get out of the house to go to the market and feel like they're, you know, alive.
Right.
For another person, it's the 5 minutes that's all they're going to do ever.
Right.
So, you know, but at least I give them the opportunity to utilize that little bit of time to figure out how to make themselves feel better,
Yes.
just feel pretty.
I'm probably 5 to 10 minutes. You know, I never go without moisturizer. I use base. I put on some eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick.
Yes.
And I powder the face when I'm doing interviews so that I'm not shiny.
Right.
That's it. It can take me 5-8 minutes. That's it. And I will never go out. I might go out without the eyeliner, but I never go out without that makeup on because I want to represent myself from the inside out. And my outside doesn't always match. So I'm going to use this wonderful thing called makeup. And it's not about painting a face I want to be. It's about complementing the face that I have.
Right, exactly. It's interesting. When I moved to Beverly Hills, because I didn't grow up here, I moved here for my children, for the education. But I had been working here. And so I dealt with all kinds of fancy Beverly Hills ladies and whatever. And then when I got involved in doing things for the city, the fire department, the police department, raising money and doing things like that, there were events. And I thought, wow, I have to be like these ladies. And so I would go to the department store and buy things that I couldn't afford.
Right.
And I noticed something at these events, because it didn't take me very long to realize that I didn't have to do that, that there were women that went, oh.
Wobbly again.
So these women didn't realize that picking something off of a mannequin was not necessarily the right thing for them, but it was in fashion.
Yes.
It was pretty, it was whatever. And so, but then they bought the whole thing, you know, and they didn't like, let me have the earrings to go with the shoes that went with the outfit. And I started to realize that most of these people, most women, really don't know how to shop. So I totally understand for, you know, what you were doing. My clients ask me all the time. In fact, I used to post myself from top to bottom and say, you know, my outfit was from Zara and my, you know, so because I wanted them to understand that it's not a question of just buying it because it is. It's buying it because you understand what looks good on you and how it's going to represent you and how good you feel in it also.
That is the key. How good do you feel in it? Because how good you feel in it could be $1 million. I used to have a dress store, and we had a huge big event here in Vancouver, Canada, of a big hotel opening up, and lots of celebrities and lots of big people going to be there. And I had a young woman saying, you know, her husband was part of the architecture there, and she was invited, and she said she was a sporty person who is always out running around with the kids and sporty and not really, you know, kind of dressing. So I put her in a simple dress, just showed her how to simply do her hair and her makeup. And I said, bring your joy, Bring your joy. That's your accessory, your joy of life. And she went out there and she said people were wearing dresses that were 5,000 or 10,000, and she was wearing something under $100. And she said, I felt like $1,000,000, and I had so many compliments all night long.
Yes, it doesn't have anything to do. It really doesn't have anything to do with money. I try to tell women that all the time. This is not about money. You don't have to walk
with a price tag,
with a price tag or a name,
or a name
for that matter. I mean, it's not. Look at, I have named things.
Mm-hmm.
I admit that I do, but I don't know now, in my age that I am now, that I need that.
Right. Exactly. I'm a weightier person now, especially after COVID. I discovered oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah, believe me, I know. I have chocolate chip scones.
Yes. Oh, they sound good.
They are.
And the thing is that our bodies are going to change shape as we get older. It's a natural process. Stop fighting it, right? And for some people, they're very active or they're naturally thin and they look fantastic. I have a friend who's 66 and she's wearing a bikini and she looks sensational, right? It's not me. I'm always been a more curvy type person. I've just got curvier. So do I go out and panic about it? No, I go out and dress appropriately. Doesn't mean dowdy, but it just, I'm hippie chic. That is normally what I wear, gypsy type clothing, and that's who Sarah is. And do you feel comfortable in it? Can you wear it, where you feel comfortable and it doesn't matter what your weight is and or where you got it from? You feel comfortable in it and you feel comfortable in your own skin and your face and hair and everything else, shows that is your accessory. And then people are going to think that you're dressing in the $1,000,000. I had a woman at school who she confessed to me once. I was a volunteer at the school, so always there every morning. And she confessed to me once, very timid woman. And she said, I stay around every morning to see what you're wearing today.
I've heard that one too. I know it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and little did she know I was a budget shopper. I would buy things on sale. I'd buy things from secondhand stores, charity shops, and it's just how you carry it, right?
How you carry it, how you put it together, how you accessorize it, and how you put yourself out there.
Exactly.
It's so many things. It's all those things.
It is. No, Hollywood, unfortunately for many stars, they get caught up in the trap of that it maybe is their looks that have really got them in there in the first place, and they've got to maintain that look and they become a slave to kind of keeping that look. Or, there is this constant persona that they've got to look perfect and they cannot be caught without makeup or caught with any downtown. And I think that's actually changed quite a bit now, where people are more relaxed at, how they're wearing sweats when they go out, but they fashionable sweats and they make it look good. But you must have come across quite a number of people, through the years who really kind of became a slave to the look.
Well, there are certain people that I've worked with. I worked with a lot of celebrities. I had a 20-year run with working in television and film and print and commercials, and it was all celebrities.
Yeah.
And I will say that almost every single one of them is fabulous. So I can't, I'm not even going to complain about them, but I will say that there is one in particular, and I know that you read a little bit about Dolly Parton, because I started working with Dolly when she was, when we're our ages, we're a year apart.
Really?
Almost exactly a year apart. And it was 1977. And I remember, you'll read about it in the book, but there's a whole little story about how we came to work together and how it's turned into a, 40, 50-year friendship. And she is a person who has her own persona.
Yes.
And there's nobody that needs to tell her what to do.
She's larger than life.
Nobody knows better than she does.
Yes.
About who she is and how she wants to be seen. However, when I met her, and the first time that I did her makeup, she came in with her makeup all on. And I said, well, hi, I'm Bobbe Joy. I'm a makeup artist. And if you need anything, let me know. I already knew. She had her wig on. She had her fit, And I said, and she looked me up and down and she said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, I just clean you up a little bit. I really wanted to wash her face and do it again. But and she said, okay. Finally she said, okay. And I worked with her, and she wanted my whole makeup box. She wanted me to get her an entire makeup box with everything in it and all of that. And I wound up teaching her how to do her makeup.
Right.
And so even when I haven't done her makeup, she does a pretty good job on her own, because she has learned. She chose to learn how.
Right.
And a lot of celebrities don't do that because they have budgets where somebody can come in and do their makeup for whatever it is they're doing.
Right.
Issue is when they're not doing it, like with COVID, you can see some of them on TV and they don't know what they're doing.
No. I mean, Kelly Clarkson, has a talk show. She hasn't worn any makeup through it. None. She's just gone that way, and but she has such an exuberant personality. That makes up for it. But yes, people are having to do their own hair, their own makeup. And it's I've actually said this. Because obviously I'm a podcaster. I've been doing this 8 years, and I find people are just more intimate and more friendly, and the conversation is always much nicer this way. And now everybody on TV has gone to Zoom, all the talk show hosts and everything else, and they're having to work from their home. We're seeing them more au naturel. We're seeing them in their environment. The hair and makeup isn't being done, so it's them doing it, and that it's more natural. And I'm also seeing the conversations are more natural.
Not as scripted.
Yes, exactly.
Not as scripted, because they don't have somebody standing there feeding you the lines.
Exactly. Or 2 minutes commercial. Now they can really get into a conversation.
Yes.
And really be candid, because there's an intimacy there, because they're coming from their own home. So yes, they'll go back to the studio, but I think for a lot of people, they're going to miss this, kind of interaction that we have been having.
No, I like it a lot. The only thing I don't like is I love people, and I love being around people, because I like the energy that you get from people. And you have to be kind of in person in order to feel that.
Oh, I'll argue on that one, because I'm feeling your energy right now. Energy has no boundaries. It has no barriers. When you have a signature with someone and you connect with them, whether it's in person or not, the only thing in person, you are up close. And that's kind of a different physical interaction. If you're a toucher and this and that, then but I think the energy is still there, and it's how we engage with it. And we are looking at a world right now where they're having to go online to do their businesses. They're having to go online to have those meetings, and it is a different form of energy people are stepping into, and a different form of presentation of the way they look. And so a lot of people think, well, I'm on camera, I've got to do more makeup. And it isn't the case, is it? Because you need to be more subtle.
Yes, and you're up close. You're not looking at a whole person.
Right.
You're only looking at shoulders and head or whatever.
Most of them are naked from the waist down.
That was funny. That was today on The View. Somebody said that.
Oh, really?
Someone said to Whoopi, well, we know you're naked on the waist down.
Just don't cry fire.
Right.
Exactly. All these butts running out.
Right. But I think that celebrities, it's a different world of celebrities today too than it was. I'm trying to think of how many years ago when I was doing a lot of celebrities. Some of them stuck with me, but I didn't freelance anymore. I actually worked with regular ladies, and but the women were, they were able to, I would think that they would have been able very well to do this. There's a lot of people now that do these, the nightly shows. The comedians do great, but some of the other ones, they're a little shy. They don't really have
they don't have the interaction of the audience. And
exactly. I think it is actually, that's true. The audience makes a huge difference. That's why on one of the shows, I think it's Bill Maher, they have a fake audience, and they keep going into the fake audience. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. I love Trevor Noah, and because
Me
his
too.
afro is just growing and growing and growing, and it's like, what hoodie is he wearing today? And
True.
you know, um, but he's at ease. I mean, he's one of
Mm-hmm.
those people that he can make a joke, but I love the sincerity and the seriousness that he's able to go into, because he's so well balanced. And Colbert took a while to get into the
To
new
get there.
platform, and now he's settled into it.
Yeah.
And then some others, just brought their kids into it, made it a family affair. So
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
you've got the View, and you've got the Talk, and you've got all of that, and it's and as I said, couldn't get to the hairdressers; they had to cut their own hair. I mean, that's me. I'd be
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
so
So,
you got to know yourself, though,
yeah,
haven't you? You have to know yourself. You have to be comfortable with what you can do in presenting yourself, and realize you are going. That the studio lights aren't on you. But somebody hasn't done your makeup. Them not running out every commercial and tabbing you up. You're on camera here now, and you can't step off to do something
I'm
because
not
you're in
doing
this
anything.
picture. You're
It is what it is. This is what I say. It is what it is.
exactly.
But what I wanted to say, the book deals with. It started out that it dealt with my 20 years working with celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
and I have great stories, in the book of different things. Not bad stories. You know
Right.
what I mean? I didn't do any ugly stuff.
Tell all things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. I didn't have to, because there was plenty of good stuff that I
Good.
could tell,
Which we need.
which we
Yes.
need. But when I started writing it, I thought that was what the book was going to be. But then I realized, after starting to write it, that it was really more about all these young women and that I was dealing with, who had so many insecurities and had
Mm.
so many difficulties with themselves. And I was so insecure when I was a young girl
Mm.
that I felt it was necessary for me to kind of write about. Well, I don't know if it was necessary. It was kind of like going to analysis. Before I
Yes.
knew it, I
Yes.
was writing about
Yeah.
all of this stuff. And I realized I had horrible skin. I had buck teeth. I had a stutter. I thought I was fat. I had big thighs. I wasn't tall enough.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things. And no boys asked me out in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I thought that there was definitely something wrong with me. So after having worked with women for so many years, it was so easy for me to start to tell these girls these stories and to help them to understand that we all feel that way at
Yes.
some point in our
Yes.
lives. And it's the getting out of it.
Yeah.
And this is part of helping you to get out of it. And I was like a therapist. I was even a therapist to my therapist.
Well, the thing is, I always think we learn best from the people who have gone through the process. You're
Mm-hmm.
sharing your why, you're sharing your how, you're showing your courage, you're showing your strength. And all the tools and the skills that you've learned along the way, you're sharing. And for, the best form of mentorship is from people that have gone before you. And you learn so much from them. And you may read the whole thing, and part of it doesn't apply until later. Oh, I read that. Bobby wrote
Right.
that in the book, and that now applies to me in this place and time in
Mm-hmm.
life. But it's also feels more of a kind of a sisterhood or a brotherhood, whatever we're addressing, of knowing somebody else has been out there who's done it. As somebody else had that awkward moment. We look at beautiful people and we think, well, they must be beautiful, no worries in their life, nothing. And then we
Yeah,
read their
sure.
biography, and they were absolutely
Mm-hmm.
scared shootless all the way through their
Mm-hmm.
lives, right?
Right.
And they just learn to kind of, navigate through it, which is, we're all trying to do that, right? Navigate through life.
Yes. And I would hope that people, I mean, I don't know, a lot of people do, but I would hope that people would feel that it's important to share those things.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are very, they're very private about their lives.
Yes.
And it's hard to get in there, for whatever reason. But if you can share your own experiences, it does help people to open up a lot. And I have the most, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm retired in the sense that I'm retired from the business. I had 3 makeup studios and all of that, and a makeup line of cosmetics and all that. But I've retired from that. But I still have those wonderful people that I still hear from, that connect with, that I have this great relationship with. I think it's so important for women, especially, to have that.
Oh, 100% agree with you.
Mhm.
I've got 2,500 collective shows here on Self-Discovery Media. And,
Wow.
one of the common denominators is the people who are willing to share. And, some of the things that they're sharing are so personal and so vulnerable and so astonishing. And yet you look at who they are today and that willingness to go through the journey, go through the pain, go through the struggle and the strife, and to become who they are today. Every one of them has said, look, I wouldn't want to repeat that, but that made me who I am today.
Well, that's what my husband once said. I told him something that I thought was, fairly negative and whatever. And he said, look, you wouldn't be who you are now
Yeah,
if you hadn't had that experience. And
exactly.
I thought that was very gracious of him to look at it in that way, because he was only 30 when he said it, So I thought that was, pretty eye-opening.
Yeah. We're all going to have stuff happen to us in life. It's, what do we do with it? We can't choose often what happens to us.
No.
But what we can choose is how we're going to react to it. And of course, there's going to be the initial reaction in life, frustration, despair, anger,
Mm-hmm.
emotions. And that's what they're there for. But the thing is to tap into the emotions and why they're there at the moment and to deal with them, but don't become emotional about them. Because if anything can age someone very fast, is stress and worry and resentment. Because that
That's
just
true.
shows, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does show. It's really interesting because I know I read a little bit about who you are and what you do, whatever. This book has been so interesting to me. I have 4 little guardian angels that are
Mm-hmm.
sitting on my shoulder that led me to help me to finish this book.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one just very quickly that I just want to tell you about.
Mm-hmm.
She came somewhere. I think I had 100 pages of double spaced whatever that I had written on my own with a little help from this lovely English lady that I adore, who's one of the angels.
Mm-hmm.
And she turned me on to this woman. My father was a studio musician, so I grew up kind of in the business.
Yes.
And so she read what I had written so far, and she thought it was really worth working on with me, which I thought was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and on another note, she said, Bobby and I have a lot in common. What could it be? Well, my father was a studio musician. Her husband was a studio musician. My father and her husband were in the same orchestra that opened up the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas. We know all the same people in common, and we grew up in the same town, in a small little city called Studio City, and it was like, who did that? Who's
That's
up there
oh yeah,
orchestrating
no. There are no coincidences. There's just
this? I
and
know.
it's being aware of it at the right time when it comes your way, recognizing it and looking at it as the gift that it
Well,
is.
now I look at it as the gift, and yeah, so now I realize that I have these fabulous 4 women sitting on my shoulder. I acknowledge it. I love them. It's like I have 4 new best friends, and it's amazing. Like, where did they come from?
That you were open to receive.
That's
And the
exactly right.
synchronicity of meeting. And then I always say when you meet and you have that kind of synergy, you lock your fingers and try pull them apart, you can't, because you're in synergy with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
you're that strong together. And it's not for us to question why. It's just for us to appreciate the gift that we're given when we're given it.
Exactly. At this point, I didn't question why.
Right.
I would have. I think in the past, I
Yeah.
probably would have said, what's going on here? Because I remember one time my father worked a lot with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and whatever.
Cool.
I have 3. Yes. And I have stories in my book about that.
Oh,
And then how one day I was driving to a studio and I felt like my father was like orchestrating me going to do the same. I was going to the same studios he was going to.
Mm.
And I wound up working with Mrs. Sinatra, the former Mrs. Dean Martin, and I spent a day with Sammy Davis Jr. And so I felt like, wow, My dad just wanted to make sure that because he died, I was 30 when he died.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite fascinating. And so I looked at it as, could that be?
Yeah.
This was more not, this was more like, I love this.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Dad. Right.
Yeah. Showing you a bit of his world, right?
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, what are we in the end? You know, in the end, we are an accumulation of our experiences. We are a discovery of our gift. We are the person who stepped into that gift and used it to the benefit of others. And that's really what it's about. And a lot of people go, well, what's makeup got to do with it? You know, you got to eat healthy, do healthy, and reflect healthy. Yes, you've got to do all of that. That's extremely important. But if you don't look healthy, nothing else is going to matter how healthy you are on the inside. And some people just have those complexions that need help.
That's
and
correct.
It's okay. You know, we're not looking at the 70s, you know, with the amount of makeup that we all had, or, you know, the 80s or the punk, you know,
Right.
in the thing. We're not looking at that.
Or
kind
the
of makeup.
Twiggies,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Been there, done all of that.
Me too.
You know?
Me too.
It is now about, you know, what is your, you know, your baseline for your canvas, and that really does highlight who you are now. And that's really what makeup is all about. It's a reflection of who you are now. And it's just kind of giving people a face that is more reflective on the inside, because sometimes the outside weathers the storm in a different way.
Absolutely. And especially when you talk about, it's interesting when you talk about complexions, because our complexions do change as we age.
Yes.
And we do get a little bit more faded out and whatever. And so we have to add a little bit more of something. But that doesn't mean you have to go back and do your makeup like you did in the 60s. You do your makeup how it is for you now, as you said, because otherwise it looks ridiculous. I mean, you look stupid.
I mean, I know somebody who's 83 and a lot of mascara, and then kind of the purple red blush just on the cheek there.
I don't need that because I already have sunken cheeks, but the brown lines and the white line here and the pink right here.
Yeah, yes.
You know, and it's like stripes.
Yeah. Right? Yes. What I have to get your opinion on.
Sure.
Lip liner.
Yes. Very important, especially as you get older. It's extremely important because first of all, you lose some of the fullness in your lip. That's number one. Number two, you can bleed a little bit your lipstick, especially if you wear a darker color lipstick or you want to wear gloss. You have to be very careful because gloss, when you get older, you can't put it all over your lips. You have to just kind of put it in this area, a little bit here, because otherwise it's going to start to bleed. But a lip liner is going to create the line to help you keep your lips in a form, because you kind of lose that shape, the shape that it either is or it once was. By just
a little bit.
And I like to share these things with people. My lips want to go this way. And so if I were to put my lipstick on and it was too much going this way, I would look like Lucille Ball. Okay. You know how Lucy used to wear?
My friend always laughs at me.
So when I put my wait, I lost you for a sec.
I would say my friend always laughs at me because I take my lipstick and it doesn't matter where I am. I don't need a mirror. But you know, the one thing.
I don't usually use a mirror either.
Right, exactly. You just know where your lips are, right? Yeah.
Right.
But one thing I'll say for the eyeliner, which, you know, is you see some people with the eyeliner and that's all you see. So the eyeliner really should blend in with the lipstick, right? It's an enhancer, but, you know, you're seeing women with even big lips wearing eyeliner and all you can see is kind of the outline of the lips. You know, it's not a blended in. Don't you think the eyeliner should be something that blends in with the lipstick?
Yeah, you mean the lip liner, not the eyeliner.
The lip liner, sorry.
Lip liner, right. Now, here's the thing. I don't think anything on your face should walk in the door before you do.
Yes.
So that's anything. In other words, you want to see a whole human being. You don't want to see lips walking in the door or gigantic eyelashes or, you know, you want to see a human being. And that's what I've told people. You know, they'll say, well, why can't I wear red lipstick? I said, you can, but you have to balance it, and you have to make it a little bit soft, and you have to balance it. You have to have a little bit of eye makeup, not a lot, because you don't want to have eyes and lips. You see, I'm wearing like a lighter color lipstick because I have more eye makeup on. Sometimes I don't wear a lot of eye makeup, and then I'll wear a stronger lipstick.
Yep.
You know, so you have to kind of know those things. That's all in my book. I did all of the things about, you know, don't let your face, I mean, your lips walk in the door before you do.
Which again, it's about balance.
Yes.
You know,
well,
I mean,
isn't it the same thing as my mother was heavy? Okay. So my mother was heavy on top. So my mother wore things on top that were full, but she made sure, because she was short, that she wore narrow things on the bottom. You can't wear big baggy bottoms and big baggy tops unless you want to look like you're in your pajamas. So you're right. It's a matter of a balance as to what works for you. And you have to analyze those things. It's not, I mean, we're not talking about brain surgery here. I mean, it's pretty, if you look at people and you can find someone that you think looks wonderful, and you say, why do they look so good? What is it that what is it about them? Then you know, oh, I see. She's not wearing anything tight around her waist because probably she got a tummy or something.
Yes.
But her legs are nice and thin, and she's wearing a little bit of a heel, so it makes her look long and tall. I mean, it's just,
know your body.
and
I mean, my body
to,
is nowhere near the same as it used to be, you know, especially after COVID and cookies.
Right.
You know, and the thing is don't beat yourself up. Yeah, I know I need to lose a bit of weight, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I've just got to dress accordingly. And the thing is, if you can give yourself a waist, because I've got hips, you know, then it gives you more of the hourglass. And it's knowing how to dress for yourself, knowing the makeup that suits you. You know, I have a little eyeliner on just to make sure the eyes pop a little bit more, and mascara, lipstick, foundation. That's it.
Yes. And
it
looks perfect.
Thank you.
Really, I mean, it does. It looks perfect.
Thank you.
Good.
Glad I'm doing that right. But it's knowing your body. And it's funny because in the 70s was very much kind of, you know, the bohemian hippie chic. And I wore a lot of gypsy type tops and dresses and things like that. And they suited me.
I did too.
And I'm finding now, you know, the 90s was kind of going more into the structural clothing or oversized. God, I look at the 90s movies and everything oversized. It did nothing for the woman's body at all. And then the 2000s, early 2000s were kind of coming back to shapes and stuff. I find it hard to find clothes for me now because they want to take people of my age and my size and make you frumpy. So you've got to be a little bit more adventurous in finding those little stores that will have stuff for you. And I've gone back, you know, to the gypsy type tops. Not today. I had one on earlier for an earlier show, but not today. It's hot here today. I needed something cool on.
Yeah, we're hot here today too.
Yeah. So, but you've got to dress something that represents who you are and that you're comfortable in, no matter what your size is. That, you know, that matches your personality. That is the important thing, isn't it?
Do you know who Iris Apfel is?
No.
Okay, she is a 97-year-old woman with those big, giant, round glasses.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
She has her own style.
Mm-hmm.
She's created her own style. She never looks at what other people are wearing. Right. And she has become a fashion icon.
Yes.
So I always say, you have the opportunity to be creative within your own self. Mm-hmm. And to do certain things that make you unique. Yeah. And once I saw Iris and I listened to her and I watched her documentary, which I highly recommend to everybody to watch, I felt like I didn't need to worry so much about the little things, like this hanging neck and the, you know, whatever. I felt like someone asked her, Iris, have you ever done anything to yourself? And her answer was, no, why would I? Right. You know, she said, this is me. This is my, you know, this is my life all over my face.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And consequently, she's fabulous. Mm. And I thought, that's what this is about, that we're missing. because everything is so, about age, and everything is so about youth. And I think it's really interesting when you can look at somebody like her and be inspired.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
When I turned 60, I did a show on, women over 60 and how gorgeous they were. And, you're looking at the Helen Mirrens, the Judi Dench's, the Sophie Loren's, this, that, etc. 20, 30 years, you hit 40 and you were finished in the business.
That's
And,
correct.
now we've got people in their 80s still working, wrinkled as hell. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's because we see the inner beauty in them. We see who they are and every person they bring to their role. And they're just gorgeous people, gorgeous. And it doesn't matter, their wrinkles are just the experience of life that they have, right?
That's
And
exactly right. But you look at somebody like, just for an example, like a Nancy Pelosi. She's
yeah,
80 years old.
yes,
And she knows how to put herself together. She has her
exactly.
own style. And I think it's marvelous that she's, like an Energizer bunny, just
Yeah,
going,
yes.
and the woman that I was talking about before, the lady that's English lady that helped me a little bit with my book, she's a producer, director, agent, manager. I could go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
But she once was asked not that long ago, so what did you do? And she says, what are you talking about? I'm still doing it. And
Yes,
that's what
yes,
it's all about. So when people say to me, how come you retired? I said, it's not because of my age. It's
right.
because I wanted to do something else.
Exactly, exactly. And, again, from all the people I've interviewed, especially, 60 plus, is that they've done their job. They were good at it. It was okay. But
Mm-hmm.
now they want to do their passion. Right.
Right.
And the thing is if you're going to make a job out of the passion, that is the ultimate, right? Love what you're doing, then you'll love who you are, and the people will see the love in and around you.
Correct. That is correct. When I went to write this book, even though I said, I'm going to write it about the 20 years in television and film and everything, I'm an only child, and my parents both died fairly young. So here I am. And I don't have a lot of relatives,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to know more about where I came from and who my relatives were and everything. So I had I was very close to my aunt, and luckily she lived to be 89. So she did tell us some of it. I wanted to make sure that my children and my grandchildren know where they come from,
Right.
who I was, who my parents were, so that they have a little bit of knowledge of where they came from.
Exactly. Well, we're made up by our physical DNA, our ancestral DNA, our past lifetime DNA. It's all there. It's all hodgepodge together. And, things like Ancestry.com, it shows you the hodgepodge that you are from
Yes.
wherever you've been. But then very often we have memories and affiliation of something. We go, I don't know where I got this from. And it's a throwback from a past ancestral DNA or a past lifetime that we bring along with us. And, sometimes we have an exuberant confidence over something. And I just know how to do it. That's tapped into the knowingness, and you know how to do it. You've probably done it before. And then there's other times that we just are lost and we don't know where to go, and we're not tapped into anything.
I have a couple of grandchildren, one in particular who I'm sure has brought all this stuff in from another lifetime.
Yeah.
Because how can you be 11 and know everything he knows? It's just like impossible.
But the children that we have today are called the indigo children. They're coming in because they're coming in at a higher energy frequency than we did. They've been turning our frequency up now since 2012. And that frequency is awakening of our consciousness and stepping into that consciousness, stepping into kindness, caring and love, collaboration, community, being there for one another in respect and gratitude. And our children are being born at that frequency, those grandchildren, and they're being born into that, and they're born with a cosmic intellect that is just very, very far advanced compared to what we were, or even compared to what we are as adults.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I've never quite seen anything like this particular one. They're all amazingly smart and amazingly interesting people,
Yes.
But this from I don't know, another planet.
Yeah, well, we all are. We're all from the universe. We're all particles
Yeah.
made up of the material from the
Right.
universe. And this is
Right.
why, we as earthlings are here to actually understand we're a part of the universe, and that the universe will always be there to guide us and our knowingness. When we are willing to connect with
Mm-hmm.
our soul, to our heart, to our spirit, our minds will know what it needs to know when we need to know it. And, this thing called coincidence isn't a coincidence. It's just the synchronicity of time, of when you come and meet people at the right time for the right reason. And it's just that frequencies are coming together to put you on the same wavelength. And the more
Yes.
and more we can get out of our own human arrogance or ignorance, the more and more we'll step into that consciousness and actually understand how much more we can be as human beings.
Amen.
And we can look good being it.
Doing, yes, it
Yes.
looks good doing it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or being it.
Exactly.
I think, so many people have been doing in life, but they haven't been being in life. And I think when you come into yourself and knowing who you are, why you are, love what you're doing, and the outside matches the inside, you are now being it, not just doing it, and the doing it very often is kind of
That's
the faking it.
interesting. Well, you do fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. Until you become it, right?
Yes, until you become it. And I now at my age, at 75, I feel like I've got it.
Yes. Oh,
So,
yeah, you've definitely got it, girl.
I've got it. I mean, but I had to live through a lot of stuff to get here.
Right.
And just like you said, and I think that that's why I feel like I need to share it. That's the most important
But that's
thing.
the reason for your journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you to share the experiences, for you to share the stories, for you to share the struggles, for you to share the skills. That is how we learn. We don't want a manual, 1 step, 2 step. We want to be inspired by someone's story, because that's the invitation to take our own journey. To be inspired, you did what? You did this, you did that. You applied that, you spoke to this person and it did this. And it's like, I'm inspired. So if I'm opened up and inspired, I'm going to see the inspirations around me. So it's an invitation for people to look at their own lives and how much more they can be if they just opened up and ready to receive.
It's the story of a lot of my clients who have said to me, and it can apply to anything really, but well, you can wear that, I can't. You can do that, I can't. I've heard that so many times. It's just incredible to me.
Right.
How many times I've said, and I say, why? Well, I just can't. And I said, well, that's not a reason. I mean, you have to have a reason. The reason is my thighs are too big to wear leggings, and maybe I would do better if I wore, just slacks or something like that. Okay, you gave me a reason, but don't tell me you can't. There's no, that's, I don't want to.
Well, that's shutting down, isn't it? So, all right, I can't wear a skinny little pencil dress. All you're going to get is blah, 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 like a stuffed in sausage. And it wouldn't compliment me whatsoever. In fact, actually, I got fired from a job way, way back when a woman wanted to buy this Angora trouser suit. And she loved the feel of it. And, oh, it's so gorgeous. I've got to have this. And I said, I'm not going to sell it to you. And why not? Why not? And I said, because you're going to put it on again tomorrow and regret buying it. Why? I said, because you love the way you feel in it. But have a look at the way you look in it. It doesn't compliment you.
And did she see that?
She came back the next day to thank me for not selling it to her. But in the meantime, I'd been fired for not selling it to her. She went to the boss over my boss and complained, and I got offered his job.
And you got offered what?
His job.
Yeah, karma.
It's been kind of a trend in my life. Yeah. But I wanted her to go out feeling the very best she could be. And what she looked at in the mirror was an image of what she wanted to be, but not who she really was. It was not complimentary to her body.
Right. I didn't put any of this stuff into the book, but I have 80 photographs in the book because a lot of it are celebrities and things like that. But then there's a lot of other things as well. But as I said before, when I had my store, I used to dress up and everybody wanted to know what I was wearing. And I would actually post pictures like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got afterwards. I thought I heard the door open. I got a lot of people angry at me that I stopped doing it. I thought that was so funny, you know, because that was the way they were able to get inspired to go out
Yeah.
and, you know, and say, I'm going to go to Zara,
Yeah.
you know, because everybody can find something at Zara. You know, there's always, and well, how do you shop there?
Yes.
So now I've thinking that once I start this book gets going, that I will start doing, maybe not pictures of myself, but ideas of things like that for women, because so many women don't know.
No. Well, you know, you remember that show, What Not to Wear?
Yes.
And, you know, and how people would look at them and say, well, I think I look good. And then the transformation after, and the transformation in themselves and their confidence and who
I
they
used to do
become.
makeovers like that. I did makeovers. We did hair, makeup, and clothing. And it was over a 2-day period. So we started out with them. We kind of therapized them for a day to get them, you know, ready, because we really wanted to make a difference, you know, and it was incredible. I mean, those makeovers were fascinating, and the people's lives were changed.
Right, exactly, because they see themselves something different. You know, oh, people say, oh, that's just kind of, you know, outside stuff. You know, I fully 100,000,000% agree that we need to live from an inside out life, but our outside should be a reflection of our inside. And, you know, if it's looking like we don't feel confident, if it's looking like that we're, you know, we don't know what to do with ourselves, that's the first impression that people are going to get. So all you're doing when you're beautifying people is bringing out their own inner beauty and showing them the beauty that is on the inside, and that how it can be reflected on the outside. And they suddenly see themselves for the first time of like, I didn't know I could look like that.
I've heard that many a time. I've heard that many a time. I have incredible makeovers of women that just had no idea.
Yeah.
They had no idea because it never dawned on them.
Right. Well,
never dawned on them.
Celebrities or models or things like this, it's not them.
Yeah, right.
Who are
exactly.
they? You know, and it's like, you know, people say to me, do you interview celebrities? And I said, everybody I interview is a celebrity. I'm celebrating who they are and what they have to share. Right? Are they in the media? Well, we're all in social media. You know, there's a more even playing field today.
Yeah, right. And, you know, just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you have anything interesting to say.
No. And I've interviewed some, you know, TV stars and musicians. I've got a weakness for musicians, you know, because the thing about a musician, they're already in passion. They're already in love with who they are, what they're doing.
Absolutely 100% correct.
Yes. And the thing is what you're getting out of them, you know, just, you know, the music that you're getting out of them, the passion that you're getting out of them is just a guilty pleasure, most certainly. And then for a lot of other people, it's like I'm on my journey into discovering who I am. But one thing I have found, which is really, really encouraging, because we've never, ever in the history of time seen such an aging population as baby boomers, right? And we've never seen people of our age step up into our beauty, step into productivity, you know, keep stepping up. We're not in the rocking chair knitting. Those days are over. You know, we're out there doing something. And that's the beauty of it is so we're not looking at age as the barrier anymore. We're looking at is like, what else can we do?
Well, we're not, but I don't know if the men have gotten there yet. But
no.
but we have.
We have, yes. Well, we always know women get her ahead, right? They'll lag on behind. But it's interesting to see how men have stepped more into their vanity. And I'm not talking about ego vanity where they, you know.
No, I agree.
But talking into kind of the skincare and taking care of the nails and making sure the hair is looking good, presentation of themselves. And we're seeing this, that, this is not a gay thing or a sissy thing. This is a way of me honoring who I am and what I'm doing and taking care of myself. And it's
correct.
And stepping up and doing that.
I had a goodly amount of men that came to me, you know, and the way to call it was grooming.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was usually their eyebrows that I was working with, because the men, especially as they get older, they get really wild and crazy
Yes.
eyebrows. And their wives are the one that bring them in
Mm.
and said, "You have to take care of this," because they're wending their way over their glasses, you know. And so yes, and then once I start doing them, and they realize that this is not, a girly thing,
No, no.
then they're open to it and they're fine with it.
It's the best foot forward, isn't it?
Yes.
And
But
I can.
I worked with men like Paul Newman and
Mhm.
Robin Williams, and men that were Tom Jones,
Right.
and
Already
people.
gorgeous.
Yes, already gorgeous. But I'm saying, but they were men that knew that that was part of what they had to do. That was
Yeah.
part
I
of.
mean, their face was their industry,
Right.
right? It was their
Exactly.
sex appeal. And, now you're looking at the sex appeal where a guy in his 50s can be gray haired and can be lined and he's still considered sexy. God
Mm-hmm.
help us if we're gray haired and lined at that age. There's still that double standard. We're over the hill. But as women who are getting there are saying, we're not finished and you ain't pushing us out.
No, and I also think there's so many women that have this beautiful gray hair
Mm-hmm.
that, see, I don't have the complexion for it. I have the gray hair.
Right,
I just
yes.
don't have the complexion for it.
No, I was surprised when I did because I started getting this kind of white hair and everything.
Yeah, it's
And
really, really nice. It's really
and
pretty.
it just kind of goes with my complexion, which I didn't expect it to, but yeah.
Yes, yours does. And my husband his hair is white, and he
Mm,
has like a ruddy complexion, so it looks really, really good.
mm,
But there are women who have beautiful gray hair, and they haven't cut it in a little
yeah.
short old lady do.
Yes.
And and they've got, some of them have great hair, and you see them in commercials even, and
Yes.
they look fabulous.
Yes. I have a girlfriend like that who at 66 looks fantastic in a bikini. Um, she's got very strong features. So, obviously the features there, how big bone kind of get a little sunken for the age, but she still looks
Hmm.
fantastic. Her skin looks radiant and her hair has gone completely white and it's thick and full. She
Oh,
looks stunning, stunning.
yeah, that makes a difference.
It does. It
It
does.
does. It makes a difference. That's why I say, if you're going to do if you're going to do it, then a little lipstick, a little
Yes.
blush,
Yeah.
something
Something.
to pep you up,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And I think one of the things that we're definitely getting over is apologizing for getting older, apologizing for saggy boobs or saggy arms or saggy butts. It's like we all age, we all get round, we all gather a little weight along the way. It's part of the process. And you look at some people and they have wonderful figures at their age, and a lot of it is maybe genetic or they really worked on it. They're sporty or this and that. Again, if it's not who you are, don't beat yourself up. As long as you are
Exactly.
healthy and as long as you are happy, that really is the
Absolutely.
important thing.
That's everything. I remember the first time my granddaughter said to me, "Granny, you got those floppy, floppy arms.
Yep. Yep, I've got them.
Can I play with them?"
You can take them away if you like.
Yeah, for sure. See, that's when it comes into, do you want to show them, or do you want to start wearing something to your elbow?
Right, which according to the situation, I mean, right now I'm sleeveless and the thing is I've got the floppy arms. If I'm cooler this way or I'm wearing that way, or I have things that I get that are, to the elbow, which I really like as well. But if I go around being self-conscious over my arms or over this, over that, that self-consciousness is going to show. If I go around being accepted of who I am in the shape that I'm in and the
That's
age that
true.
I'm in, and then people don't see me, kind of being at odds with myself. They just see Sarah.
Good thought. I'll
Right?
have to remember that when I'm looking at my floppy arms.
I know so many people of any age that have worked out like crazy to get rid of the floppy arms, and it's just one of those things that's really
Right.
hard to go as you get old.
I do know that it
Right?
is true, that you
Yep.
can't, that it's almost impossible, because a lot of it is your skin,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the skin helps to hold things up, and you
Yes.
can't do that,
And it stretches over time.
like everything else.
Yes,
Yes.
everything goes south.
Right,
No,
exactly.
I was watching a movie the other day with Queen Latifah, and she was playing the live performer in the 30s, a blues singer called Jessie Smith, and on her life and her impact that she had. And there is a scene there where she's actually sitting naked looking in the mirror. And I was kind of thinking, you know, you don't need to do that. That scene didn't need to be there. But then looking at her, look at herself with confidence. And, you know, she's not a skinny woman. You know, the boobs aren't all perky.
No, but
But
she looks fabulous.
looking at herself naked in the way she was and seeing herself, confident, sexy woman, that's really what it's about. It doesn't, we've got this attitude that everything has to be tight, perky, and, you know, caressing in order to be sexy. No. uh, Mae West was definitely a very voluptuous woman,
Yes.
right? And she was the sex appeal of her time.
Mm-hmm.
And our sensuality is in our exuberance for life, right?
Exactly. Absolutely 100%. And that's probably the reason why it was important for me to share that with women.
Yes.
You know, I mean, men have read my book. I mean, I've sent it out to a few of my male friends,
Right.
you know, my cousin and whatever, and they loved it. But I wanted women to hear this stuff that we're talking about.
Right.
I really did. It was very important to me.
You know,
And in my way.
There's a young woman I interviewed that is transgender. So she's become a woman. And she does pageants and this and that. But by her own admittance, it's like, I'm having to learn how to dress as a woman. I'm having to learn how to do my makeup and my hair. And,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and
I've
for an
worked with
awful
transgender. I've
right.
worked with transgender women. Yes,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
hard for them because they're inclined to go overdo it and don't realize that less again is more, the subtlety, highlight your best features. I'm glad you said you've worked with them, because I think we've
Oh, yeah.
seen it more and more and more today, and they're at a loss because there aren't many people addressing them.
That's true. And then there's some of them that are just too embarrassed
Yes.
to ask.
Yes.
And that makes me really sad. I mean, I offered somebody that I knew, and I offered, and I said, look, let me help you and whatever. And they just were too, I think, just embarrassment, if nothing else.
Yes.
That's a shame too,
yeah.
because you go that far. Come on, you go that far. Let's do it the whole way.
Right. And, you know, you have that RuPaul thing, which is great, fun, etc. But they're all wearing makeup extraordinaire, and it's not the daily makeup, you know.
Well,
and
that's a different kind. That's for show.
Yes.
That's show business
Yeah.
makeup.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
completely different.
And I think it confuses a lot of transgender who are kind of going, well, do I have to look like that? I can't carry that off.
They think they have to go overboard,
Yeah.
or people will still think that they look like men.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem.
Right.
And this gentle, soft way is so much better. I have a beautiful picture. Unfortunately, she died from one of the surgeries that she had.
Oh.
She had a heart attack. She didn't die from the surgery. She died. She had a heart attack and died. But she was stunning. When we got through doing her makeup, she was stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, her hair, she let her hair grow. She put extensions in. She looked amazing. I mean, she really did. But, you know, it was hard. It was hard for her.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, it's, even though more and more we're seeing, you know, transgender and kind of more and more equality, it's still very hard for them. And, you know, the more support they can get on beauty tips and support, and, you know, like, hey, we're women and we're still trying to navigate it. You know,
That's
we don't
exactly
expect
right.
you to be
Yes.
adventurous, try things, you know, and come into, how does it make you feel? Can you look at your makeup? Can you look at the way you're dressing and go, you know, this is me. I feel good in this. I feel confident in this because it's representation of me. And what you have to do is play around with things until you get to that space where you can go, I'm okay with this.
Yes. And some people can never get there.
No.
For whatever reason, maybe because they've been torn down so much by others, their parents or whatever, that they just they can't find that, and they're not. And I always say, you know, it's like a turn of a screw to change your thought process.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You really, you have to want to, but you just kind of tweak it just a little bit, and you can look at the world in a different way. It's kind of like when you have a light shining on you, and the light is like a blue light, and then you can turn it and it becomes pink. It could be
Yes.
the difference between looking and looking really beautiful,
Right.
you know, and it's
Yes.
just that little turn of the screw. So yes,
In our
exactly.
heads.
Yeah.
That's where it's got
But
to start, right?
some people can't do it. They just,
No.
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they got to
And the
come
thing is,
around
you
and do
can't
that
help
again.
anybody. Yeah, you can't help anybody that's not ready to be helped. We've got
Right.
to understand we have to help ourselves. And, you know, they say the teacher will come when the student is ready. So, you know, if you're unhappy with yourself, you've got to be willing to take the journey to
Right.
discover who you really are and what your beautiful gift is here on this earth. And that means you've got to be willing to listen and learn from your guiders around you, because they will lead you on that path. But if you're not
Yes,
willing to listen and learn and apply, then you are not going to grow. And that's just the way it is.
that's true. Agreed.
So they can get the book where?
Okay, so you can get the book www.bobbe, B-O-B-B-E, joy, cosmetics.com. And in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to get the ebook and on Kindle and on Nook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for now, I don't even have the book. The book is on a truck. I thought it was coming today. So it's
okay, I have a
probably,
picture of it. It's going to go up here on YouTube.
yeah.
And of course, people just have to come in and put your name onto selfdiscoverymedia.com and put in your name. And it will show your show page with all your audio, your video, and your book, and all of your links and everything else. So.
And I have a question for you. Can I put this on my website?
100%. You can do it just as an audio, just as a video, or as the entire link.
Absolutely, because I have stuff that's on YouTube and whatever
Mm-hmm.
also, and I put some of it on my website. So it's great to know that I can do that, because I will share that with everybody, because I'm really like a Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And
all
you're a
those
virgin
things.
podcaster.
Yeah, I am.
I'm so honored to be your first.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been lovely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Oh, I
it.
really appreciate it too. You know, I mean, a
Thank
lot of
you.
people think makeup is just vanity, and it isn't. It's just an extension of it. It's like, you know, the clothes that we put on ourselves aren't just to clothe ourselves. They're to be a representation of who we are and our style. And that's the same with makeup. It's the same with hair. So you've got to remember,
Exactly.
it's not just, you know, one package. You've got to attend to the all.
Right. And I
And raise
appreciate it.
some eyebrows in a different way.
And yes, exactly. Well, I'm raising eyebrows both ways.
Yeah. We don't want the one eyebrow going questioning. We want both eyebrows.
No,
Whoa.
no. No, we won't do that.
Right, exactly. Both eyebrows going, wow, lady, you look
Yeah.
good.
Listen,
Well, thanks so
I'm
much.
lucky. I'm lucky that I have the eyebrows that I have, you know,
Yes.
because, you know, even I did let's get them all taken out
Yeah.
and whatever. So
Yeah. 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 And, you know, as you can see, mine are very thin and they're very short. So, but, you know, they are what they are.
taupe pencil.
Taupe pencil. I have to look for that because I've been
For
looking for
blondes,
something.
taupe.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. I
You're
will be
welcome.
purchasing some taupe pencil and see if I can get
Okay.
some eyebrows back.
Good. Good. Okay.
Thanks so much, Bobbe. This has
Thank
been
you. I
wonderful having you
appreciate it.
here. And remember, folks, it's the entire package of you, inside and out. The outside must reflect the inside must reflect the out. And it's okay to place some value on yourself, some importance on yourself, and to be as beautiful as you can be inside and out. It's not about conceited vanity. It's about loving yourself and showing it to everyone else. So until next time, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.